I am going to call this meeting to order and need approval of the April 16th meeting with corrections. The 1 to 3rd paragraph of the alumni weekend was listed incorrectly. It is April 26th through 27th.
I'll move it with corrections.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank all in favor. Oh God, I feel lonely. We're
It's me and you all have over.
Rotate.
Okay, moving right along. Action items 2.1, recommend approval of payroll certification.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Wait, 2.2, recommend approval of 2024 EOP free-freshman alumni academic grant for $63,000.
Move.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, 2.3, recommended approval of opioid settlement fund additional professional scholarship program funding. Motion, Sandro,
Second.
second Jim, all in favor, opposed, no, motion approved. 2.4. I feel like I'm screaming here. Recommended approval of contract with Career American LLC, ADBA, OCEOT.
What is
Motion,
I'll move it.
I just had a.
is there a question?
Yeah.
Jim?
Just want to know what exactly this
Oh.
is.
All in favor? Motion carried. 2.5, recommend approval of federal Perkins CETA funds for academic year 24-25. Motion, Alessandro. Jim, all in favor? Motion carried. 2.6, recommend approval of federal college work study allocation and incentive payment. Motion,
Move.
Jim, second, Alessandro, all in favor, motion carried. 2.7, recommend approval of anticipated 24-25 entrepreneurial, you made me say that big word. Assistant Center grant. Motion.
Second.
Second, Jim, all in favor, motion carried. 2.8, recommend approval of resolution for candidates for promotion.
I'll move it.
Jim, second, all in favor, motion carried. 2.9, recommend approval of amendment to extend the term of the SUNY system-wide contract with the Lewis Company LP for the student help desk service. Alejandro,
Second.
Jim, all in favor, motion carried. 2.10, recommend approval of petty cash.
Second.
Yes. All in favor, motion carried. Okay, informational items.
Hey, Margaret.
Just in time.
Good.
Good morning, everyone. I want to begin the president's report with a brief update and good news on our fall enrollment. We are up about 10% in students over last year this time. So hopefully that will continue. And up about 10% as well in our FTEs. So about 143 students and 56 FTEs over a year ago. I completed, will complete on Friday my meetings with all of the departments. It took 11 months to get an audience with our faculty. They're going very well. They're very pleased. They seem to be excited heading off into the fall semester, the summer, as excited as faculty members can be. But they appreciate the time that I've spent visiting and listening. And like I said, it took a while for it to happen, but I'm very pleased with my engagements with the faculty. You may know, the county has requested our presentation of our budget. Either we're trying to schedule it for Thursday or Friday. So came out of the blue. We've been trying for a number of months to sit down to present our budget and the constraints going into the budget process. And then very quickly they said, can you make it sometime this week? So we are busy preparing and sharing information, and hopefully we'll have a meeting on Thursday or Friday. Last week on May the 7th, at the suggestion of the State University of New York system, we conducted a tabletop exercise that was based on a fictional situation around two Asian warring factions. That's very similar to what's going on in the Middle East, and protests on campus. And there were multiple scenarios that were shared, resulting in the possible disruption of commencement. They wanted us to go through this tabletop exercise before commencement. So we did it on Tuesday of last week. Although we are not expecting any instances on campus, it did give us an opportunity to talk through scenarios. It focused on Title VI, which is discrimination, Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1965, as well as the First Amendment and academic freedom. So each of those elements were.
Who participated?
There were 12 of us. So I believe almost everyone at the table, minus Jeanette, you can come next time. And Dr. Kelly, the chief of safety, public safety, director of housing, the dean of students, our legal counsel from the county was here as well. Josh was here. And we're missing, Jesse was there, and Marcom, because there was a public relations component to it as well.
No students.
No students, and it was a controlled tabletop. So it really, the scenario was prepared by SUNY system to be activated across all 64 colleges. So they didn't want it to get out and have other institutions know about it. So, and they told us very specifically who they wanted us to include. It went really well, I thought. I'll ask my colleagues at the table if they want to add anything. And we think it's a really good idea to do some similar follow-up tabletop activities. So it prepares us, and it allows us to ask the right questions. It shows where gaps are located. Does anyone want to chime in or add? Yeah, it was fun. We continue to work on the goals, strategies, and action items of our strategic plan. Having our weekly meetings. Now we have about 4 goals, and we have 2.5 strategies that are flushed out for each of the goals. 2.5 of the goals have strategies under them. We're trying to quickly get the rest of the document done before the committee disbands for the summer, so that we can work over the summer and prepare a final document for approval by the board in the fall. Do you want to add anything?
No, that's kind of wraps it.
Yeah. So
We're just trying to get it done.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Maybe you should look twice a week.
Trying to get people.
Trying, yeah.
Trying to get people. We're gonna do twice this week, actually.
Yeah, this is a real busy time to get folks together, faculty are creating and we had lots of events in the day and in the evening, so it's not easy to do.
No,
but we're
I didn't
doing it.
realize there was so many involved in it. I had a conversation with him yesterday about it.
Well represented.
Yeah.
As instructed by the board, we have launched the employee satisfaction survey. It has gone live. I believe the closing date is June 6th, so it's out. Responses are coming in, and we're going to continue to encourage employees to complete the survey. And then just, I'm not sure if this is part of your report or not, Dave, I guess. But you may have heard a press release has gone out about a junior hockey league that will be renting our ice to both.
We said let's, yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I'm not sure if this is part of your report, you might want to add to it. There's a press release that has gone out that does say that they will be both practicing on our ice as well as having the meets on the ice. But we're treating it purely as a rental. So they will be renting the space, both the ice itself, the arena, as well as several offices and using the locker rooms during their activities and events. Other than that, and I'll conclude, there's so many activities and events that are happening, including the Heart Walk, alumni reunion weekend, open houses, retirements, many student awards and activities, and commencement. I just want to remind you this on the 23rd of this month, so next Thursday. And with that, I think was my report.
Thank you. Okay, Michael.
Good morning. So in your packet is our college's monthly budget forecast. We're still forecasting that we should have a balanced budget by the fiscal year end, August 31st. Also in your packet is a copy of our interest earnings. So just so you have an idea, college is investing about 11 million of cash, which has helped balance the budget for this year. As you can see, interest earnings to date is well over $300,000, just given where the interest rate market is currently. And 11 million of cash is kind of ties to our unrestricted fund balance, which is about 6 million, and then stimulus funds is about 4 million that will be spent, be utilized by year end. So ballpark, that's about 10 million of the 11 million. Just since the last finance committee meeting, state budget has been approved, and on the operating side, really no change. We're still at the floor, which is for us is about 13 million state aid that we put in the budget for next year. It's in the budget this year. On the capital side, 3 primary projects were approved. The Decker expansion, phase 4 is 3.8 million. 50% of that is state, and then 50% is local. About 900,000 for IT, both infrastructure and related equipment, and I think $500,000 for the business building roof replacement. So those were 3 major projects that were approved in the state budget.
Michael, if it's the state's approved it, has the county approved it?
County approved it
Prior to it, okay.
that December time period, November, December of 20.
Oh, the one they did all capital
23.
project, yeah, okay.
And so once the county approves, then we can certify all the match. Then that gets included in the governor's proposed budget. Governor proposes it in January. And the state legislature finally adopts it.
After April 1st.
After April 1st, last couple of years, fourth week of April. So those projects usually takes a couple months to get them set up through SUNY, and then we can actually start spending the money. And then just finally, it's a related party, but the college is a major player. I think I mentioned in the past, the college and the housing development board, the board, and that entity is refinancing the dorms. Key Bank holds a 10-year note, and that's due to expire at the October 31st of this year. So the college and housing development corp and kind of an intermediary that we've retained to facilitate the entire process. We've been in earnest since probably last year, been kind of developing a lot of documents. We don't in the bond market, you really don't formally go out to bid. You kind of go out to the market, and this Davidson and Company, that housing development corp retained, kind of works in their arena. And just an update related to that, we really had 3 interested parties that we've had a number of conversations. One of the firms visited the college and the village, met with both college officials as well as housing officials. We expect another site visit probably in the next couple of weeks from the 2 bond. Those are entities that are interested in financing the project for 30 years. And then Key Bank gets to decide whether it wants to submit a financing proposal. Typically, the banks usually only do a 10-year deal.
And you went to 30.
We would prefer a 30 just to not have to do this every 10 years, and you're a little dependent on the market, but your 30-year rate is going to be higher than your 10-year rate. So, and there's a number of other factors that need to be evaluated. So we're probably in the process of getting what are called term sheets. They're pretty extensive, can be 10, 12, 15 pages long. And it specifies all the conditions and terms, including the financing components of it. So we've received 1 term sheet, probably expect 2 others from the other 2 parties. And then we'll kind of side by side. It won't be an apples to apples comparison, but we'll evaluate all that and then make a final recommendation to the housing board. We'll have to approve the recommendation. So the college is a major player as it relates to the enrollment management side of this equation. The college provides a lot of services to housing, and feedback we've received is one of the key reasons a couple of these entities are interested is because of the college's underlying support, both financially as well as a lot of the executive team and other departments that provide support to the village. So I think it's proceeding pretty well. We have another 5 months, but I think things will get. They are already getting pretty intense. So I would expect over the next 30 to 60 days, we ought to probably should be prepared to make a recommendation to the housing board. And these things take a long time, even after you approve a term sheet. the amount of due diligence that's required is pretty extensive. So Housing Development Corp has their own council, HHUK, so that they'll be a key player involved in the transaction.
Thank you, Mike.
So that concludes my report. Anybody has any
Thank you.
questions?
Okay, Dave, you're on.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll start with the two projects that both Michael and Dr. Hawkins cited. So we'll get going on the business building roof as soon as the mechanics of the financing aspect of that are in place. And that's a good thing because we've been waiting for a couple of years to get those funds from the state and be able to begin that project. Also with respect to the hockey team, so the contract has been finalized. There's still some ancillary stuff that needs to be worked out, some specifics, but it is a junior team. They actually took the name of Binghamton Buzz. A Hornet will be on their jersey, even though nothing relative to SUNY Broome will be on their jersey. There, as Dr. Hawkins said, they'll be renting the ice for practice sessions and their home games. But this is a very competitive league. The owner of this team also has a team in Elmira, and this team will be feeding the Elmira team. So he's talked about potentially bringing that Elmira team to Binghamton next year, but we'll see how that plays out. But for now, we've got the one single team, the junior team playing in the North American 3 Hockey League. So that'll be exciting because this area is, as you know, a pretty good hockey hazard. So a few other items. We've got a long list because we've got a lot of things going on. I'll only touch on a few of the major ones. The walls, the flooring, the painting, the HVAC, the lighting has all been completed with a new photo lab. What we're waiting for now is delivery of electrical equipment, in particular the panel board and doors. But we still anticipate getting that project completed before the beginning of classes in August. We had another Get Start meeting on our HVAC projects for the Student Center West Gym project, and that's going to be a relatively straightforward project, just a swap out of what's there. We hope to get that completed by June, and that's in concert with the other 2 HVAC projects that we have at both the library and the business building. Those have, for all intents and purposes, been completed, but the fine tuning of the systems is ongoing. And the remaining old equipment that's on those buildings or near those buildings will be removed once classes have ended, which they end today, right? So within the next few weeks, we'll get that old equipment out of there as well. We need to use a crane for that. As you know, we had added additional security cameras across campus, and what we're doing now is adding signing in those areas where there are new cameras. So everyone on campus is aware that certain areas are now under surveillance that were not under surveillance before. Our staff just finished installing 2 doors on the loading dock of Old Science, which was cited in a fire code inspection last fall. So those have been replaced. And they will also, once classes end, be replacing the exterior doors at the BC Center. As Carol knows, Janice Anderson is finalizing the cost estimate for the expansion and renovation of the BC Center, which will be submitted for a dormitory authority grant. We've spoken to that. Our staff installed bulletproof glass over the finance office. Work on the project to upgrade our campus-wide fire panels will begin within the next few weeks. If you don't know, every building has a fire panel that is connected to all the smoke detectors, the smoke heads in the building. And if there's an alarm that sounds, it goes directly to 911, which alerts the 911 system to a problem in that particular building on campus. Brickwork repair out in front of Titchener on the east end of Titchener continues. We may have to modify things a little bit with respect to the cap on that work. But we'll continue to talk to the contractor. We anticipate refinishing the wood floors in the Baldwin Gym, the West Gym, and the dance studio over the course of the summer. And the remaining projects continue to move forward with oversight committees and meetings. Most recently, we had a meeting on the AT lecture hall, and I know Dean Marty Achola had, I think, anyway, circulated that the options to staff and to others, and they've decided on what they would like to see there. So the architect is finalizing some proposals for the upgrade of that lecture hall. And most of the other items on here have been reported on over the last couple of meetings. But with that, I would, and Michael spoke to the Decker nursing funding, and the intent is to still have the bids for that project approved at the August 2024 board meeting, with work beginning shortly after that. So that is a brief summary of my report, and I would be more than happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Dean.
Yeah.
Anything else that someone would like to share? I will open up. No? Seeing no, I will ask for motion for adjournment.
I'll move.
Jim,
Second.
Margaret?
I apologize.